My name is Josephina Osterman. I'm Maria Catroppa's second daughter.
I was born with the name Innocenza Tawasin, and Maria Catroppa was my mother. And I know this is a cliche, but she was the best mom you could ever hope for. No matter what was happening in your world, no matter how bad things were, all you had to do was be around her and you felt that everything was going to be okay.
We had a simple life, but we would always get together with family and friends, and it would just be really like a big party. And Mom, of course, she shows up. You don't have to ask her. She'll show up with her cannelloni and her lasagna.
That was just who she was. Her essence was so beautiful. Her whole being was so welcoming.
In the last few years, I was probably the closest of all my siblings to my mother. She would visit us a lot with her husband. Personally, myself, something was off about him when I first met him.
We were very respectful of him because of our mother. We loved her so much that we welcomed him into our family as if he were our father.
I feel like we were deceived by him, very much so. We didn't really know him. I don't think he ever let us know who he really was. Halfway through the marriage, Mom started opening up and telling me, phoning me up and saying, I'm not very happy.
She would talk about not being able to leave the house, that he was controlling her behaviors, and that she was regretting having married him. And when I noticed things were going sideways, and I you know, some of the signals that were there, I actually said, Mom, you need to leave him. And she told me that, you know, she could handle it. I can handle this, everything's fine. He's my husband and I have to stay with him.
Mom started telling me about him visiting her room 3 to 5 times a night and hovering over her bed. And I said to her, what does he do when he comes to your room? Oh, he just stares at me.
She actually tried to wedge a chair on her door because he would break down the door, he would pound on the door. The fact that she would phone me and be whispering, I remember saying, why are you whispering? Because I don't want him to hear me. He'll get agitated if he hears me.
And then I do remember September 28th, 2009 was Mom's 69th birthday. And my mom opened up a tea towel drawer and she said to us, look, I have to hide the knives here. And I said to her, why are you hiding knives, Mom? She said, because he might hurt himself or me.
She was living in fear. She was trying to hide it from us, but she was living in fear.
Just after 3 in the morning on the 24th of November, 2009, Sebastian calls 911 himself and says that he killed Maria. When the police officers arrived on scene and found Maria, the initial first responders, she was lying on the floor. If I remember correctly, she was face down at the time. During his warrant statement, he told us that they had been in a fight. He was still angry. He got up in the middle of the night and went into the bedroom and stabbed her to death.
She was stabbed 126 times. I don't know how somebody who loves somebody can do that.
She deserved so much better, and she deserved to die with us around her, those that loved her, and instead she died with a monster hanging over her. I still wake up and I think, my mom, my beautiful mom, she shouldn't have died like that. He was convicted of second-degree murder, and pure and simple, as sick as it was, as twisted as it was, and as horrible as it was a case of domestic violence. The Surrey Women's Center for us was a godsend. The fact that we had our victim services worker, Miriam, help us through every stage of the process. I don't know what we would have done without Miriam. The fact that this service was out there was something we weren't aware of as victims, because we weren't considered victims. You don't realize how much you need them until you end up being a victim, and knowing that they're there is so important.
The best way to deal with this is to report those incidents, to come forward, to tell people that these things are happening within your home, to seek help if you're one of these people who is a victim of domestic violence.
You've got to listen. You have to listen. You have to listen to that little voice inside, way deep down inside there. That gut feeling that you have. Follow through with it and see what you can do to help that person that's being victimized.
We generally can recognize when something's wrong as individuals. You don't need to be a police officer to figure that out. And when you see something's wrong, that's the time to call. We have to work together as a society. We have to work together as human beings to protect each other.
You have to listen, you have to see the signs, you have to educate yourself.
Just be honest and truthful about what's happened to you. If you're being victimized, if you're being abused.
The pain that we're going through, the pain that she went through, we can't let that happen to others. We have to stop it so that this doesn't happen to another family.